Well, what is going on, everyone? Sonic's back. Today we're going to start getting back into the swing of things with uploads, and what better way to do that to bring back the Back on Duty series. Today, we're going to be talking about Black Ops 4. Let's do this. So for the newcomers to the channel, or the people who haven't seen the previous Back on Duty episodes, this is how it's going to work. We're going to be talking about the three quintessential game modes of said Call of Duty game, which in this case is Blackout, Multiplayer, and Zombies. In May of 2018, Treyarch announced that there'd be a Battle Royale mode added to Black Ops 4 to replace a missing campaign. This mode will be known as Blackout. With a map set to be 1,500 times the size of Nuketown, there would be many sea, land, and air vehicles to help you navigate around the map. Now, this map would include famous Black Ops maps and locations from the previous three games, such as Raid, Stronghold, Hydro Dam, and also various Zombies locations like Verrückt and Call of the Dead. Now, with all the maps that were mixed around from all the games, they'd have to do the same with characters. So we got characters like Woods, Mason, Hudson, Reznov, all the Zombies characters, and the multiplayer specialists. Fast forward a couple months to August, and there would be a Blackout beta announcement from Treyarch that would go live on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC on September 24th of 2018. The Blackout beta was well received by fans, and everyone really wanted to know what would come of the game mode once the game released. Upon the release of Black Ops 4, we would all learn that seasons were the type of content drops we were going to be getting. So every new season, the Blackout map would get an aesthetic change, maybe some new vehicles, some new game modes, some new weapons, etc. Some of the Blackout modes included throughout Black Ops 4's lifespan are Close Quarters, Hot Pursuit, Infected, Snipers Only, Heavy Metal Heroes, and on top of this, we would also eventually get Alcatraz as its own new Blackout map. Now, my overall opinion of Blackout is probably going to be a little short and sweet, keep the Blackout section short. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. It's probably the mode that I had the most fun on in this game. I feel like they tried to capitalize on a genre that was popular at the time. Battle Royale was at its peak pretty much, so they were trying to capitalize on it. Because they didn't have a campaign, so they figured, okay, let's pick up something that's really hot right now, and that was BR. And I feel like for core mechanics, it's good. I enjoyed what they tried to do with Blackout. Everything worked really well. I don't know. The mode is very well polished in my opinion for the most part. It's nice to see a AAA company put their spin on Battle Royale because there wasn't really any at the time doing it. And eventually there ended up being like a little bit of a ridiculous thing with like the Vendetta being added and it being ridiculously OP. But some things were a little weird like that, and then just stupid little bugs and stuff that would happen. But other than that, Blackout's pretty good, honestly. Like, it's the only really bad things I encountered were just minor bugs, and then it just kind of, you bring the COD community into things, and there's bound to be like campers and all that stuff. But other than that, the game just worked well. I enjoyed it. I had fun. The special game modes were hilarious and awesome. Like, I have honestly way too many clips from Blackout. I have way too much footage that I haven't used yet because I just planned to put it into a video and I just couldn't play any other. I didn't play the game that often, so I just have like a bunch of clips from one session, and I just wouldn't know where to use them because they'd just be kind of random, kind of mumbo jumbo if I put them somewhere. But I do plan on eventually putting all my clips into a montage for Black Ops 4 and probably sending just all my good moments from Black Ops 4 into a video. But yeah, Blackout was fun. I enjoyed it. It's just one of those things that was it was different and it was nice, and I really did enjoy it. Black Ops 4's multiplayer was super innovative. It added bullet travel time, bullet drop, and shitty hit reg. No, Black Ops 4's multiplayer was the most atrocious piece of shit I've ever played in my entire life. Just take for that what you will. But let's take it back to the release of Black Ops 4. So, Black Ops 4 releases, and, it's pretty good. I played the Blackout beta. I loved the gunplay and everything in the beta. It was nice. And Black Ops 4 releases, and I'm loving multiplayer. For like the first week and a half, 2 weeks, actually more like a month even, I was just spamming multiplayer. I hadn't touched anything else. It was strictly multiplayer. And I was just getting to know all the guns and play and just everything and just mess around and see what stupid shit would go on in multiplayer. So, all my, everybody in the, the friend groups, the guys playing in my videos, like Steven and Liam and, all those guys, they started playing again. And, we were all enjoying ourselves. And after about a month, the game started to get patches. And after that initial patch, okay, they fixed some things, blah, blah, blah. And then another patch comes out. And a third patch comes out. And by the time the third patch came out, there was no turning back. The gunplay had just turned to absolute garbage. And then after about a month, people started to learn the game and learn what stuff was OP and what's not OP. And people were there's a bunch of sweaty nerds who were max level after a month of the game being out. Just fast forward, by the time DLC 2 came out, I barely wanted to touch this game, multiplayer wise. I didn't want to touch it. I was just tired. None of the guns felt like they did when the game first came out, or like they did in the beta. In the beta, to me, in the beta and within the first month of Black Ops 4's release, the guns were balanced. To me, the guns felt like they were right. Yes, there were little changes that need to be made, but they felt relatively okay. But by the time DLC 2 had released, they had this mentality to me of, okay, we have to balance everything and make it so that all the guns can, they had them, to me they had the mindset where they were trying too hard to make all of the guns combat all the other guns. They were trying, okay, somebody who's using, a Strife needs to be able to kill somebody who's using, a Spitfire. Which, 90% of the time doesn't happen, but, they were trying too hard to do that. And to me, I really think it shows. Some people are like, it's fine, but to me, I just think they were trying a little too hard on that, and it kind of just, it took what they were trying to do and just turned it to garbage. And the bullet travel time for me in this game just made zero sense. I don't know why they would even try to bother adding it. To me, the only reason the bullet travel time was even added in this game was because this game was just rushed as hell due to Activision and due to whatever they had going on at Treyarch Studios, and they had to add something new to make it not like Black Ops 3. And that was one of the only things they even really added in multiplayer. It was oh, here's our big things in contention: manual heal, bullet travel time, and that's about it. And the COD engine has been used for a while, and we all know at this point that the hit reg isn't that great. So add bullet travel time onto that, and it just goes to complete ass. You're talking about shooting directly into a dude and mag dumping him with an LMG, and you're getting nothing. You maybe one hit marker out of a 100-round box mag, and then they can one hit you with a pistol, or they can two hit you with a pistol. And it doesn't make any sense at all to me. It just made everything so bad. You have to aim at least a meter ahead of them when they're running or walking to even bother trying to hit a shot. And it honestly it hurts. And I can honestly understand why certain people towards the beginning of this game's launch thought snipers were OP, because the sniper bullets travel so much faster, as they should, but they actually hit their target to where basically the snipers felt like they were still hit scan, and the bullets of all the other guns felt like travel time. So I can kind of understand where people were coming from. It's okay, the snipers are a little bit ridiculous. I can kind of understand where they're coming from. Personally, I didn't feel that until I started playing the game more along the game's life cycle. Then I understood, okay, this is why people think snipers are OP. I'm honestly, this game's just a kind of a giant clusterfuck, to be honest. Some people like it, some people hate it. I don't know, man. I'm kind of in the middle, to be honest, because I want to love this game, because Treyarch's always been my favorite developer, to be honest. Because I started on Treyarch. The first game I played was Black Ops 1. That was my first COD game that I played. And I loved that. I thought Black Ops 1 was amazing. Which, you know, another controversial opinion, kind of. Some people hate Black Ops 1. Some people love Black Ops 1. But Treyarch's always been my favorite developer. And I don't know. I just felt like, you know, they kind of knew how to listen to the community. But this game just completely threw that out the window. And I don't know. Just, there was something, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was because of Activision and, you know, all the layoffs and all this different stuff that Treyarch had to go through. I don't know if it was because of that or just, I don't know. But just this multiplayer, in my opinion, could have been so much better. Even the weapon balancing. Like, the weapon balancing, I mean, is just, I don't know, like DLC weapons, let's say. The DLC weapons, in my opinion, are just so stupidly balanced. It's ridiculous. The daemon is stupid. And the daemon also leads me into the attachments. Why in the world would they choose to put high cal 2 and rapid fire, or no, not rapid fire, fast mags or whatever, on the frickin' auger DMR? Why? And they refused to nerf it. It got nerfed like 3 times, and people were saying it's not enough, and they still didn't do anything about it. And they, the daemon, it has like rapid fire 2 on it or something, and it has high cal 2. And it's one of the fastest killing guns in the game, and they're like, no, that's fine. That's acceptable. And it just doesn't make sense. And there's a lot of people who wanted that gun nerfed. And same with this Wildfire Spitfire. That thing is one of the most OP things in the entire game. No nerf whatsoever. At least to my recollection, the Spitfire never got a nerf for that op mod. And in my opinion, the op mods are just garbage anyways. They all either make the gun super overpowered and they really shouldn't be in the game anyways, or they just have 0 point in using them at all. Like the Hades. Oh boy, I can have a concentrated hip fire. Why do I need this for like 3 out of my 10 for pick 10 system? Like, why? Why would I waste one wild card and then 2 attachment slots in pick 10 just to have an op mod that makes, I can concentrated hip fire? Oh, okay. That's supposed to be better than just aiming and hitting your target? The Stingray. The S6 Stingray. One of the dumbest things they could have added into the game, and it took them like 3 months to patch it. Or like 3 or 4 months. Why? Like, why would it take you that long to patch a gun? It's like, okay, clearly this thing is broken. We see it. But nah, we're not going to patch it. We're going to make it take 4 months until our next big season update comes out to patch it. And it doesn't make any sense to me. They just completely dropped the ball on this, and I don't understand why. Like, if something is broken, like, personally, I mean, obviously it might not be as easy as just, if our community thinks something's broken, we have to fix it. Obviously they have to do tests and stuff and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know, like, it seems to me like they're just like, no, it's okay, you know, whatever. And I don't know, like, it's not going to sort itself out. It's still going to be broken. I don't see where their heads were at when they were trying to, like, throughout the process of this multiplayer. It doesn't make any sense to me where they were coming from, what they were trying to do, anything. Because it's just Black Ops 3, but boots on the ground, and with extra bullshit, as in specialists and operator mods. And even more shit hit reg. And it doesn't make any sense, man. That's all I can say. I probably said that way too much, but it doesn't make any sense to me.
This is magic. Dark magic.
If you thought multiplayer was bad, time to talk about zombies, boys. Alright, boys. Zombies. So, Black Ops 4 Zombies. Black Ops 4 Zombies. Oh boy. Black Ops 4 Zombies is here. You know what? Let's talk about the Chaos storyline first, alright? So, building up to Black Ops 4, the Chaos storyline was obviously announced and pushed out, blah blah blah, and we got the trailer for 9 and for Voyage. I'm pretty sure the first trailer was we got Voyage and 9 as one trailer, and we saw a bit of each of the maps. On the release of that trailer, personally, I thought, cool, sweet, like a Roman Coliseum and the Titanic, sweet. You know, those pretty cool maps, I guess. Whatever, but I always had the mindset of, okay, we gotta see how these actually play as maps to actually see if we enjoy the maps themselves, and the characters, that's gonna come with time. For me, personally, I wasn't one of the people who was, like, complaining about, oh, it's not our old characters because of blah blah blah, like, I mean, like, Mob of the Dead. Those were new characters, nobody seemed to complain about them. Like, the Transit Crew. No one, I mean, obviously everybody, well, not everybody, but people generally, I guess, are kind of like meh with the Transit Crew. But nobody really 100% complained about them as far as I recall. But for some reason in Black Ops 4, everybody's like, well, no, new characters are bad. And I don't know why. I don't know why that was a thing. But, anywho, Black Ops 4 comes out, and the Chaos storyline, you know, is kind of a, you know, it's his own thing, whatever. And 9 is a great map. 9 is a beautiful map for beginners to zombies. If you want to get somebody into zombies, that adds another map to the list of one of the maps that you should get them to play, because it's easier. It's not like Origins or anything, or it's not too complicated. It's not whatever. You can just kind of, it's like everything's kind of easy. You can kind of, you just click on you just ring the gongs and kill the enemies, and there you go. There's the heads. You get Pack-a-Punch. And, the map's relatively easy to navigate, and, everything, all the perks are, this is where all the perks are. They're symmetrical to each other on all the sides of the map, and everything's pretty good. The Wonder Weapon's not that hard to get. You can just get it out of the box. The shield's pretty easy to get, and everything's just overall well. The bosses are pretty good. They're not, completely OP or anything, and they're not stupid. They're, they're pretty well rounded. Everything's all good. The Easter egg's pretty fun to do, all that good shit. And then you move on to Voyage, and Voyage is just, I don't know. Personally, I don't think they marketed Voyage well, because we never got a separate trailer for Voyage of Despair. We only ever got a separate trailer for 9, because we got the trailer that was, okay, half's Voyage, half's 9. Then we got a 9 trailer. Then we got the 9 music trailer with Mad Hatter from Avenged Sevenfold, which was just, in my opinion, one of the greatest zombie songs ever. I'm loving that song. When that song came out, I just, big nut, just fantastic. Thumbs up to them, because they're still releasing good shit. But we never got a separate Voyage trailer. And personally, I was waiting for a Voyage trailer, because I was like, okay, I want to see if they're actually going to, what the other map's about, and we didn't get anything. We got, one trailer, which is, I don't know, 3 minutes of little snippets, and then nothing else until we got to play the map on the release day. So that was kind of a bummer for me, for Voyage. I mean, there was no real hype built around Voyage. All the hype was built around 9. So I really think that's one of the reasons why Voyage wasn't so hyped up by the community at all. But just as a whole now, Voyage is just clear. It's bad. To this day, I still get lost, where I'm going. I half the time it's okay, well, I know where the shield pieces are, but I've walked around the same place 3 times. Where's the shield piece? I know what room it is. I know what the room looks like, but where is it? How do I get to it? What am I doing? And to this day, sometimes it's oh, I gotta go downstairs. I gotta go get my dying wish. I gotta go get my tonic perk. Sweet. I'll go one way, and I'm oh wait, no, I have to go backwards. And then I'll go upstairs. I'm well, shit, now I gotta go down. It doesn't make any sense sometimes. And it's definitely not one of those maps, if you're just you just want to chill, whatever, and you're just you don't want to use any brain cells, you physically can't play Voyage, because it's just just finding where everything is half the time just gets annoying. And I mean, to this day, I didn't really pay much attention to Voyage anyways, but to this day, I haven't done the Voyage Easter egg. I've done, I'm pretty sure, every other Easter egg on Black Ops 4, and I haven't touched Voyage's Easter egg except for one time, and then the rest of my team never wanted to do Voyage again because I hated it. We never even passed like the second step. And I don't know. I mean, the Wonder Weapon's cool. They didn't put it on 9 though, so that's why nobody really remembers it or no one really cares about it. Just the Stoker boss is like okay, whatever. It gets annoying kind of him spawning in every round, but I mean, he's not too hard to kill, so I guess it doesn't matter. But I don't know, man. Just Voyage is just one of those maps that's just like I don't know. But and moving on to Dead of the Night. Who thought in their mind at Treyarch Studios that giving us a map that explained what we already knew happened through ciphers in 9 and I think Voyage maybe, like okay, we know what happened, we know that Scarlet, her dad got captured and blah 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 and whatever, and we know what happened through Easter eggs and through ciphers. Why would you give us a map that literally says, okay, this is what happened, and we're just going to retell exactly what we gave to you in ciphers and through Easter eggs that we basically already figured out? They'd had no need to give us that map. They could have done something totally different. They could have given us literally anything. They could have given us like an extra map in between like Voyage and Ancient Evil. They could have given us literally anything. It's been like, oh, okay, this is where we stopped in between Ancient Evil and Voyage, okay. But no, they gave us a map that told us the backstory of a character, of like completely characters that mean completely nothing to the story. And basically we already knew what happened anyways through ciphers and shit. And it really pisses me off that they wasted their time making this bullshit map that makes no sense to even make. Literally, the entire map is just based off of like a really shitty, like really shitty stereotypical like old like 80s horror movie, and it just makes zero sense to me. Like, oh, there's a giant werewolf as the boss. Big whoop-de fucking do. Like, I don't get it. And they like basically bootleg Nosferatu and put the stupid gremlin little bitches in the map that I can't even remember the proper names of. And then there's the red bleeding ones that like one hit you and like trap you, and they basically get you killed when you're trying to go for any high round run on that fucking map. Like the crossbow is basically useless. The steak knife is only really good for the stupid Nosferatu bitches, and that's sometimes just a tedious piece of shit to make. The Easter egg, in my opinion, is just honestly dumb. I never liked doing that Easter egg, and the only reason I did it is because I had friends that really wanted another person to do it with, so I just sucked it up and did it because I was bored. And just I just don't get it. And like the Alistair Zavali is literally just like that Wonder Weapon. Why? It's a revolver that shoots out acid bombs, basically. Big whoop-de-doo. You reuse the texture. And that's like 90% of the textures in Black Ops 4 are just reused from BO3, but I don't see where they I don't see where they came from with that. Like, why? To this day I still don't get it. Why would you give us that map? It makes no sense. It doesn't. And they paid like really good like celebrity actors to be in this map too. Like, and like, I don't even remember the names of all the actors, because I don't really pay attention to actors and shit that much, but like the dude who's playing like fucking Indiana Jones, like his only line in the entire intro cutscene is, "What in the Lucifer's ball sack was that?" You paid him so much money for that to be his only line in the fucking cutscene. Like, I don't understand. Like literally, the entire cast is the Ho, unlike just like Shadows of Evil's cast, you gotta have the hoe in there. You've got Indiana Jones, pompous prick, and then fucking the dude from Game of Thrones. And, like, literally, like, word for word, it's literally just basically the dude from Game of Thrones. And it doesn't make any sense. There's no, I don't get it. I just don't. It's just like, okay, let's just try and cop off of, like, a fucking old horror film. Okay. Like, I don't understand. It just really seemed really low effort. It's like they just lost any train of thought, like any creative thought possible, and they were like, fuck, we gotta, like, rip off other shit. And the entire Chaos storyline is basically based off the game Pitfall, which is an old Activision game. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's just every creative bit they had just went out the window. It's like, I mean, the entire story was spawned off of stuff that Treyarch couldn't fit into Ether, and they were trying to bunch a bunch of random story points into a full story, and it just doesn't work. And Ancient Evil, in my opinion, is a decent map. I think they got Ancient Evil right. I like the way the map looks. I like, like a bit of the story. It's, like how they get in there and stuff like that and whatever. And the story is kind of, a little bit better in that map, in my personal opinion. I like the wonder weapons. They're not, like, super hard to get. Like, the whole Pegasus thing is okay, I guess. The boss is pretty cool. He just reminds me of Goro from Mortal Kombat. There's good training spots. The map's laid out pretty well, in my opinion. The Easter egg is not all that bad to do, except for the boss fight being majorly buggy without patch, and just no bother to even bother fixing the boss fight. I've tried the boss fight like 4 times, and every single time we've glitched at some point. I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot to say about Ancient Evil, just because I didn't really even play the Chaos maps, like, at all, really, other than 9. Like, I probably played Voyage, like, total under 20 times. Like, I probably played it, like, a good 3 to 5 times at the beginning of the game to kind of, like, try and do all the stuff and figure out the map and learn how to play it, blah, blah, blah. And then 9 I've played, like dozens and dozens and dozens of times. And then the rest is just, like, Dead of the Night. There was a DLC glitch where you had to re-download the DLCs. I didn't re-download Dead of the Night because I didn't play the map. I don't play the map at all. I just didn't bother. And just, I don't know what to say. It's just so dumb. Like, the entire, like, basis of the Chaos storyline, in my opinion, is just stupid. It's like, I don't see why they thought that taking random plot points that they couldn't fit into Ether and trying to make them into a full story, just why that would even make sense to even try and do, why that would even be successful. Because even when I first heard that, I'm like, I don't think that's going to turn out well, Chief. And it didn't. It turned out horrible. It was just so, honestly, the Chaos storyline, I feel like, in a little bit, like, unless they bring it up again, it's going to be so forgettable. Everybody's going to forget about it. Nobody's going to even really remember it. And, I mean, to be honest, I don't blame everybody, because the storyline's pretty garbage anyways, but just, all I can say is the Chaos storyline is just, like, the Chaos storyline is just a meme in and of itself. It makes no sense at all. Like, a lot of the storyline is just mumbo jumbo, personally, that I just, like, there were certain cool little things, like, the perk system was kind of cool, and this and that, and, the elixirs, I guess. The elixirs are just the copy of Gobblegum, but whatever. But just, the Chaos storyline is just a meme in and of itself. That's really all I can say in conclusion about the Chaos storyline, is it's just a meme. That's like literally all I can say at this point without, like, just feeling like I'm rambling even more. So now, the Ether storyline. Oh boy. Okay. Now, the Ether storyline. So we get the big announcement that, well, I guess kind of big, I guess, that 5 is being remastered. We're getting Classified. And, okay, as Black Ops 4 is building up, everybody's like, okay, Classified, this could be cool. And, we get, okay, Blood of the Dead, and actually, no. Yeah, Blood of the Dead was the only other map, wasn't there? I believe. Yeah, I think. With the mighty power of Google, yes, Blood of the Dead was the only on-disc map for Ether, other than if you pre-ordered or whatever and got Classified. So, these maps, in and of themselves, let's start with Blood. Blood was, I feel like it was kind of just I don't know, part of me feels like they made Blood of the Dead a thing because I feel like Blood of the Dead was like, okay, well, they went to Blood, but after the Zed Easter egg, okay. But there's a little part of me that still feels like it's just, it's for a nostalgia trip because they never remastered it in Black Ops 3 and blah blah blah. And I mean personally, I in Blood of the Dead was pretty good. I enjoyed it for the most part. Like I enjoyed like playing the map. I enjoy it. Like just as a map standpoint, wanting to play zombies, I enjoy Blood of the Dead. I enjoy playing it every once in a while. Would I rather play the original Mob of the Dead? Yes. But, will I come back and play Blood every once in a while? Yeah, sure. Sometimes, yeah, I will. But as just in the story, in the story, Easter egg wise, let's start with the Easter egg was just god awful to do at the beginning. Like the amount of times we tried, like by we I mean we had a team of 4. We had myself, we had our friend Reese, we had Liam, and we had I think it was just us 3, and then one time we had some alternates out, like we had Steven, and then we had Tegan, I think once. But in that team, in our teams, we tried so many different times to do that Easter egg, just to be like, okay, well, we're doing the Easter egg, and trying to get the story and see what the ending was and whatever. And just the amount of time, just doing that Easter egg just with blue screens is just stupid. It like the blue screens made that Easter egg more tedious probably than it was. But like I remember getting like directly to the end. We were basically right at the end. We were getting near boss fight pretty much, like, or what would have been boss fight at the time, because I don't even think anybody had done it at that time. But we knew pretty much all the steps. So we were getting everything, we were doing everything, and we get to like I believe it's the last step that you have to do before boss fight, and the game crashes. And at that point, I believe this is when we only had 3 people. It was myself, Liam, and we had Reese join us. And at this point, we had done the Easter egg a shitload of times already, and we were just done. And Liam had just deleted Black Ops 4. Liam was done. He didn't want anything to do with Black Ops 4 at this point. And I which is understandable. Myself, I honestly, all I ever did in Black Ops 4 Zombies was just go for tier skips so I could get all the shit in the tiers. But I believe at this time they didn't have that, so I was just playing for multiplayer, like a little bit for tier skips, and like maybe a bit of zombies, like a little bit, because I was really rusty, so I was trying to keep my skill up. But just there was a real long break, and then eventually they patched it, so everybody got back on. Liam reinstalled the game, and we did the Easter egg. The Easter egg cutscene for that map, I can only describe as just we were all really I can only speak for myself and kind of Liam because of what if you guys go back to my Blood of the Dead Easter egg video, you'll see, like, Liam mentions about Richtofen being his favorite character, and I can speak for us. I don't necessarily can't necessarily speak for Reese, but that was mega, like, just down, man. Like, that Easter egg ending, as everybody pretty much, that was just a really depressing ending. I mean, I don't know, and it was kind of confusing for me too, also, because of where they were gonna go in the story. Because, okay, whatever, they kill off Richtofen. Now, moving on to the next map, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna have? It's the Richtofen from, that came out with the crystal and Kamehameha everybody, and it's just gonna be him in Richtofen's clothes. He's just gonna, like, clothes switch him, and he's gonna be that Richtofen. Or is it gonna be the other Richtofen, or what are we gonna do here? Like, we don't know. And that was kind of a weird thing too, and I like kind of did that, which I wasn't really a huge fan of. Like, it's like, okay, you killed off Richtofen, but like, I don't know, like, it felt like it was a big deal that Richtofen was supposed to die in the story, but at the same time, it's like, oh, you just switch him with another one, and he looks the exact same as the other one. I don't know, I feel like it was just weird. Like, it was a really weird situation to go about, and it was weird, but at the same time, it's like you still felt it. Like, it was still, like, sad. Like they care. Like, even the line Richtofen says, like, I want to be me, the one who did all the hard work, and he did do all the hard work in Zombies. Like, throughout the entire story, he was the guy who did everything. Black Ops 1 was entirely him. Entirely. He's the character who brought everybody to Doris in World at War. The entirety of Black Ops 1 was him. Black Ops 2, he controlled the transit crew and told them what to do and all this shit. Black Ops 3, he was, he knew what was going on and everything, and blah, blah, blah. And then in Black Ops 4, they just kind of were like, well, he's dying. Like, I just don't know. Like, I feel like because there wasn't a character like Richtofen kind of being like, okay, this is the story, this, he knows what's going on, so it's kind of like they can form a story better around him knowing what he's doing. But now that Richtofen's gone, it's like the story kind of unfolded this weird way, kind of. And I don't know. I just Blood of the Dead story-wise was kind of weird. Like, there was some cool things here and there, like some like little Easter eggs and stuff around the map, blah blah blah. But I don't know. I feel like going off of Blood into Alpha Omega was a bit weird to me, just a little bit. But going back to Classified, Classified was, it was a decent thing for, like, at least old Zombies fans, because, like, we're getting 5 remastered, like, that's cool as hell. And I was in that boat too. I was excited to see what they do, like, for new areas and different stuff like that, and, the Winter's Howl being back and all that stuff, and if the Pentagon Thief would be in there, like, what Easter eggs would we find, and is it going to be the old crew, and things like that. And it's, to be honest, Classified gameplay wise isn't that great of a map, to me at least. Like, it kind of gets boring to play. Like, I haven't really went for a high round run on that map, because either A, I get corner pub stomped by a dog, or I get stuck on something and then get killed by a dog, or like, honestly, I just sucked at zombies at Black Ops 4's beginning. I just sucked. I hadn't played zombies in so long. But I don't know. And story-wise, I feel like the way they did the cutscene for that map gets around, what was it, 150? Like, really? Like, okay, yeah, I guess, like, okay, it's different, whatever. But, like, some people, I don't know, I feel like I've had some people say, like, it's different for them, high round for an Easter egg, whatever, you don't have to do all these steps. It's like, well, yeah, but what about those people who aren't good enough to get to 150? Like, what about those people who, I mean, I'm not, like, not as a bad thing, but, like, what about those new people who are, like, doing these, like, who can kind of join in. Like I remember when Steven first got into zombies, he did the Easter eggs with us in the beginning. Like one of his first zombies games, he did the Shadows of Evil Easter egg with us. Like full capability of what was going on. Like he, looked up a guide and he knew full well what he was doing. And it was on and now it's like, but like those players who are newer and want to get into the game, and they can do Easter eggs, like they can follow like, okay, this is a step, did you just do this? But then they don't actually have the necessarily maybe the skill to play the game at high rounds, and trying to get them to get to 150 is just kind of a meme in itself. Even me, I mean, if I put the time into it, if I had the time to do it, I probably could get to 150, but it would take me forever to do. Because I'm not the great, 100% best at zombies, whatever, for the time I have to, actually play in my spare time and all that stuff, my highest round is, 85, and it was on Revelations, because, Thundergun, Apothecary, and Servant strat is just OP, but just, I don't know, and even the Easter egg ending was just, it's just at this point, at this point now where we're at in the zombie storyline now, it's just dumb. It's like, oh, we're gonna go fight the Great War, whatever, and same, it's just all the maps now, it's just they seem kind of counterproductive. Like, it's like, okay, we're gonna go fight the Great War, and then now it's just like a back burner turn, and they flip it around. But Classified to me is just kind of like meh now. Like, okay, they remastered 5, and they gave some nostalgia. Okay, whoop-de-doo. And then we go into Alpha Omega, and Nuketown remastered. Okay, this could be interesting. There's a daytime map finally with no snow, any of this dumb shit, and we're all good. Okay, Alpha Omega. I do kind of like the style of Alpha Omega. Like, I do kind of, the bunker was, it was cool. A lot of repasted stuff from Blackout, but, what can you do? I do feel like a custom mod, custom map maker for, even for World at War, could have made a better map layout and map design for Alpha Omega than Treyarch did, personally, but, just... The map, the map being a Broken Arrow facility, that's kind of cool in my opinion. The mannequins are controlling the place. That's the reason Nuketown still looks, relatively, up to date and blah blah blah. That's kind of cool. I don't mind that at all. That seems kind of interesting to me. But the return of the Galvaknuckles, that's kind of cool. But other than a little bit of nostalgia and kind of some decently cool map decisions and stuff, Alpha Omega is just playing Nuketown. It's just playing Nuketown from BO2 over again. It's just another oh, this is where I'm going to train in the exact same spot I trained for X amount of years until Black Ops 3 came out, and then I stopped playing BO2 for a bit. And I don't know, it's kind of one of those things where there's only so much you can do with one map. Even remastered, it's gonna be okay, we're relatively gonna play this map kind of the same, and it just kind of gets old. And even for me, Rushmore in Alpha Omega didn't do anything. He was okay, after the Easter egg, it was okay, he's literally just an AI. I thought they could have done something decent with him, and it's nah, he's literally just an AI. He's just a regular ass computer AI that controls Nuketown, or is part of Nuketown. And seeing Peter McCain in the Easter egg, that's pretty cool, I guess. They didn't seem to do a whole lot with him. At least in my opinion, they didn't seem to do a whole metric boatload with him. The Easter egg ending, seeing the Avogadro be Purnell, that was cool. When I first did the Easter egg, when we first did the Easter egg, that was cool. Seeing the Avogadro come out of the pyramid, that was awesome. That was a really cool moment. That was sick. I loved it. Even him saying if I must call you something, or if you must call me something before I destroy you, call me Avogadro. That in itself was just goosebump worthy. It was amazing. The boss fight was really weird. I don't know. The boss fight was kind of. I don't know. To me, the boss fight was really weird. It just doesn't. It doesn't really float my boat that much for a boss fight. But the ending itself, going on to like the end of the boss fight and the cutscene, the end of the boss fight is just hilarious. Because you get him sucked in and it goes, oh, it transferred to they transferred him to the Hanford site. So they basically, the last hoorah of the characters, basically, or one of the last hoorahs of the Ultimus and Primus crew, is just sending, basically, for one last time, they have to fuck somebody over. And I love that so much. That was one cool kick about Alpha Omega that I think kind of gave more than the other maps, was just, for one last funny hoorah, let's have the characters just say, haha, fuck anybody else, let's ruin the universe more, and send the Avogadro to transit, basically. And I think that's just funny. That's just hilarious. It's an awesome thing that they just, a little bit of detail, a little bit of funniness. But in the end, doesn't really matter because of how the end of, Tog turned out, or at least to now. I mean, at least as it stands, it doesn't matter now, but it might when Black Ops 5 comes out. Who knows? But the cutscene itself, Samantha coming back, or coming down and whatever, and with Eddie and seeing the characters after Maxis sends them away. Maxis dies, which is just a big, big brain play by Treyarch to have Maxis die. I don't see why Maxis had to die. Part of me does, part of me doesn't. But I don't know. Whatever, Monty comes, Maxis dies. Samantha gets sent down with Eddie to Nuketown and, meets the characters. And she says, we're going to go back and we're going to kill him and then we're going to burn everything to the ground and we're going to fight the war, Eddie. We're going to fight the Great War. And then, at that point, after seeing the cutscene, I was ready. I was full ready for the last map, Tartar Toten, to just, go and kick some serious ass in a cool boss fight against Monty, or just, see Samantha whip his ass or something, and they ruined it. Tog was just this major rushed thing that just because, Sledgehammer is going to be little vajonas, and we're going to kick them out of the cycle now, so it's a 2-year cycle, we only have, a year and a half to make a game, so here you go, have fun. And there was nobody on the zombies team. The Tog was just a giant, just no-brainer of a bad map. Everybody knows that Tog is a bad map at this point. Pretty much everything-wise, Tog is pretty garbage. Gameplay-wise, people play it the same as Call of the Dead. Just, the Easter egg is beyond easy. The Easter egg is beyond easy to do. A 2-year-old could do it. I'm not saying that Easter eggs have to be hard all the time, but it's just stupid easy. And the transit crew coming out of Mob of the Dead, unfrozen, to go to Call of the Dead, after seeing the Easter egg cutscene, is literally nothing. It was made out to be such a huge plot point, in my opinion. It was meant to be such a huge plot point. Oh, the transit crews in Mob of the Dead. Oh, we get to see them in Blood of the Dead. And then, oh shit, they're coming out of Blood of the Dead. Where are they going? And they help the characters at Tog. And it's okay, sweet, cool. This is going to be badass. And then they just end it. It felt like it was such a big lead up to nothing. And it was just a big drop for no reason whatsoever. And it hurts. As a fan of zombies, zombies is one of the first things I played on Call of Duty that kind of got me into playing Call of Duty, was zombies. I played Black Ops 2 Zombies, and that's what got me into it. And as a zombies fan, after, going back and experiencing World at War, then Black Ops 1, then Black Ops 2, and, just kind of re-experiencing everything in order for myself, I feel like it almost feels like I've been a zombies fan as long as zombies has been around. And as a zombies fan, that hits for Tog to just drop like that. The transit crew, just, nah, screw it, boom, drop them. There was this big plot point, and now they're nothing. Like we did all this work to get you this stupid fucking device, and now, oh no, everybody's dead. Why not? Like they could have easily just after Alpha Omega just been like, okay, whatever, blah blah blah, and just did a really long cutscene and or something or some dumb shit, and ended it there. They didn't need Dr. Toten at all. It was like, oh wait, there's another DLC. We need something to just fill out the end so we can fucking withhold the inevitable kind of thing. And it's so unbelievably horribly executed, and I don't have the words to explain how just unbelievably fucking disappointed I am about how bad they dropped TOG in general, just as a map, not even necessarily the rest of Black Ops 4, like Ether storyline wise, but TOG alone, just, I don't have the words to describe it. It's like, your wonder weapon is literally just a specialist copied from multiplayer with a different look. It's literally the Tempest, but it looks like a Wonder Waff. Oh boy, what a joke. The Thunder Gun. Oh boy, it's in Serbia or whatever, or Siberia, whatever. It's a snow map. Let's make a fucking snowball launcher Thunder Gun. Oh boy, that's fun. That's totally going to intrigue people's interests. And it's such a bad wonder weapon in my opinion too. It's just a horrible. And it just even think that some of these things were thought up is just stupid. Even like the electric zombies, like why is there electric zombies on the map? Like, is there any story behind that? No, they're just there for no reason. Like, okay, why? Like, why are they there? There's no explanation behind it, and it doesn't. I just don't have a clue. I don't have a clue. Like, I've seen a video that makes sense about why Call of Duty was the ending of zombies, like whatever, about because that's where zombies technically started. Going back to where 115 was originally found and all that stuff, and Group 935 set up there. So it makes sense that Call of the Dead would be the last zombies map. That does make sense to me, but everything else is just. So it's just dumb for what they had. Like, even if it's just with the barest of minimum, they could have tried to make the best of what they had, and it still doesn't. And it's like, I feel like they just gave up. It feels like they're just like, oh well, even just because we don't have very many people on the team, let's just give up and release filler and end the story. And at this point, I honestly don't want, like, as much as I want to play more zombies and see what they create with a new story or anything, I don't want zombies in Black Ops 5. I don't. Because zombies, at this point, what could they do? Because they know because they cut Chaos for Black Ops 5, because they know nobody's going to play Chaos, and Ether, if they continue Ether again and do one of those, haha, we fooled you, like revelations, like, oh, haha, this is a different timeline, this is what actually happened, and they do that a second time, the entire community is going to be pissed beyond belief. Except for the people who are like, oh, well, now we get the regular ending. Like, no, they've done that like twice already. We don't need it to happen a third time. If, I've heard some interesting things like, oh, like, what if they go into the Dark Ether and we follow the transit crew? Yes, yeah, but the Etherline's supposed to, like, that sounds cool, but the Etherline story now, the Ether story is supposed to be over, and if they do it again, even though they're not following the Ultimates and Primus crew, it's still the Ether story, it's still within that realm, and it just feels like it's like, oh, haha, we're resurrecting it again, we tricked you, haha, funny meme, troll arc here, and it doesn't feel like I don't feel like it has a place. If there's probably some way that they could, do something in the Dark Ether that's not necessarily the Ether storyline, I guess. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't feel like zombies, story-wise, could be rebooted for like a third time and still have the community being like, okay, this is acceptable, this is cool. Like, this could work. And if they manage to find that way, hey, all the power to them. If they manage to actually find a way to get the community to feel that way, okay, they deserve it. But at this point, I would much rather see an Extinction continuation, even though it's not Treyarch. I'd rather see Extinction. I'd rather see like IW zombies, like World War II zombies, literally anything. I can't physically like fathom any opinions or any ideas from anybody that physically says that the Ether storyline is retrievable still, and it can still work. And I've had that happen. I've had people say to me it could still work, blah blah blah. This could, and to those people, I mean, I guess maybe those people have hope that Treyarch can do something and help, but in my opinion, yeah, they could probably find a way to do it. But it would just feel really cheap, I think, and just kind of like, oh, haha, you still need, people still need Ether, whatever, and we can't do anything better than the Ether storyline, so we got to continue it somehow. And it would just feel really cheap and like a cash grab. And I don't want that at all, because, like, the dudes at Treyarch, who, Zombies is a mistake. Zombies was literally a side mode made for... and it was put in as an Easter egg, and it got traction, and it's literally its own game inside of, it's a side mode inside of a game, or however you want to put that, but it's like the Zombies team has worked their ass off so much to keep the game mode going, and in my opinion, this is one of their first real times of them running out of ideas, or getting really kind of like, okay, this isn't really super great. Like I've used the analogy before of it's like a band. Like a band, can have a lot of success, and people could like their music and their albums and all this stuff, and then once they get a bad album, they put out something that people don't necessarily like, the majority of people don't necessarily like. Some bands could give up, or they'll just be like, they'll try and defend it, like, oh well, it's for us, and whatever. And I feel like Black Ops 4 was kind of like that. Like they kind of were like, okay, people don't necessarily enjoy this too much, and they kind of were like, okay, well, if it's shit, then we're not going to try as hard, kind of thing. Like if people don't like it, we're not going to try as hard, or we're just kind of roll with, okay, if it's people think it's bad, then we're just going to keep risking whatever the hell, and see what happens. Just this game, man, just the zombies really let everybody down, and everybody knows this. People don't need anybody like me to tell them this, but just zombies will always be just a fucking amazing game mode, just as a whole. Zombies is just amazing. It's great that it got as far as it did with as much success as it did, and I mean, here's hoping that they can do something different for Black Ops 5 that's not Ether, or do something else within the Ether storyline, like another crew, like maybe start from the beginning of the Ether storyline, but experience it from another crew's perspective or something. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I would, like, if they do the storyline, correct, I would enjoy that. That'd be pretty cool. And, here's hoping that they can do stuff like that, and they can make it good, and they can, make it memorable, and, bring people back in, and show people that, Zombies is not dead. Zombies is still alive and well, and can still thrive. And just, I mean, hey, if Zombies ends here, then, I guess that's it. It's fun while it lasted, and, and just thanks for releasing some baller shit. But if, here's hoping they can continue, and if they can do well, they do well. If not, then, I guess it's just time for it to end. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap for Call of Duty Black Ops 4's Back on Duty episode. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Leave in the comments what your opinions are about Black Ops 4, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you thought was so-so, all that good stuff. So without further ado, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.